It's awfully complicated. All of this with the arrival of the foreigners who have changed everything in the town of Marseille.
A woman tore into me, really insulted me.
I would like to remind people that France is a Christian country with an identity, a culture.
Religion in France has been a big deal ever since the start of the Holy Roman Empire, which was backed by the Catholics following the fall of Western Rome. Their involvement with the new empire went as far as the Pope crowning the emperor, which was supposed to solidify his legitimacy. As Protestantism became more popular in northern European nations, like Germany and England, Catholicism remained the dominant religion in France and other southern European nations.
But I think the kind of hard-nosed secularism of France, that kind of unbending insistence on that secular means one thing and that violations of it will not be tolerated in any way, is a bad idea.
In 1905, France officially split the relationship up between church and state. This secularity, called laïcité, is much stricter than the American Establishment Clause. If the policies were in place here in America, things like sessions of Congress beginning with prayer.
The prayer will be offered by the guest chaplain, Reverend Jonathan Falwell, Thomas Road Baptist Church, Lynchburg, Virginia.
And presidential proclamation of faith.
God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
And In God We Trust appearing on federal currency would all be banned. As of recently, these policies seem to indicate that laïcité is actually a tool for anti-clericalism, which bans pro-Palestine demonstrations, religious headwear in public, and anti-Semitic speeches. Paris is the hearth of this conflict, because it is the seat of the French government, and the religious-fueled attacks occurred at a magazine based in Paris. Anywhere you go in the world, you will probably find a mosque. Mosques are generally built to be great monuments that celebrate the Islamic faith. Their most sacred site is Mecca, which is located in Saudi Arabia. Mecca is essential to complete the Hajj, an Islamic pilgrimage that is required of all Muslims. Mecca is also the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad. Following the Charlie Hebdo attack, many French mosques were attacked and vandalized. All around the world there have been protests over the drawing in the Charlie Hebdo magazine. Most of these protests were calm, and the group that committed the initial attack were extremists, and unlike most protesters, they were quite violent in their actions.
Natalie Bensia was born in France, the daughter of an Algerian immigrant. She converted to Islam in her early 20s and is now married to an imam. The mother of 7 says once or twice a month she's ridiculed because she wears a headscarf. She also says she's been excluded from her children's school field trips, and back in 2012 nearly had a confrontation in a store.
A woman tore into me, really insulted me. She said, "You've rejected our origin," because she knew that I'm French because I told her. She really insulted me with all these names. She almost hit me.
Bensia says she reported the incident to police, but nothing happened.
Widespread discrimination, as described by Natalie, and xenophobia has caused lack of religious and cultural diffusion in France. As a result of this, many Muslim groups have founded small communities within France.
But you do have in France many no-go zones where non-Muslims are not allowed to go, and police and fire departments are not allowed to go, and you do have Sharia courts in those areas. So your characterization is not exactly accurate about the treatment of Muslims in France.
Because of the harsh treatments that Muslim immigrants have faced, their communities are often very protective, and often cause even more tension in France.
Mohammed Merah killed 7 people, including 3 Jewish school children and a rabbi, before he was shot dead by police in a standoff.
This incident, which took place on the 24th of December 1994, is a good example of a SWAT situation that could occur on US soil. Air France Flight 8969 was hijacked en route to Algiers and forced to fly to Marseille. 4 Islamic militants held the 171 passengers and crew hostage. During the hijacking, 3 hostages were executed.
Masked and heavily armed, 2 men entered the building in the centre of the French capital late this morning and began firing. By the time they'd stopped, at least 12 people were dead. Many others were seriously injured. The police were quickly on the scene, only to come under attack themselves. Images posted on social media capture the drama. Eyewitnesses have been describing what they saw. Charlie Hebdo, a satirical magazine, has been attacked before. Just over 3 years ago, its premises were firebombed after it published a caricature of the Prophet Muhammad.
Catholicism and Islam are both universalizing religions. This means that they are in constant competition for converts. And the majority of immigrants that enter France are Muslim. According to the CIA Factbook, about 83% of French citizens are Roman Catholic. Muslims make up about 7% of the population. Jews make up only 1%. This is an interfaith conflict because it concerns Muslims and Catholics. Muslims wish for France to come under strict Sharia law, and Catholics wish for their culture to not be threatened by the flood of Muslim immigrants.